Representative Sablan, you are recognized for 5 minutes. Representative, be sure to turn on your microphone.
Yes, sir. Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Takano, for holding today's hearing. Thank you to everyone for joining us, the witnesses for joining us in this hearing. It is already the morning of September 11 here in the Marianas. I'm asking everyone to put some prayers to the victims and families of 9/11. This hearing is getting lengthy, so in the interest of brevity, I ask unanimous consent to submit for the hearing record my statement discussing my bill, HR 5024. Chairman Takano? Thank you. I also respectfully seek support from the committee to incorporate HR 5024 into the Veterans Compact Act. And I will now ask to ask my two questions. Let me start with Mr. Murray. Mr. Murray, thank you very much for the VFW support of HR 5024, giving veterans, including those giving active guard and reserve status, 1 year of VA health care after they separate. Why is it so important? Why is it important that those who are separating from their service in the National Guard and Reserve components are eligible for this coverage? And if enacted, if HR 5024 is enacted, do you think the 1 year of VA health coverage for transitioning veterans will require more VA health facilities in areas that currently do not have them, such as in my district and Northern
Thank you for the question, sir. We think that the Guard and Reserve, the Reserve component, faces a unique challenge when transitioning back. They're expected to just roll back into normal society, their old lives as they were, and providing that care is something that can relieve a very heavy burden to make sure that they can worry about the transition back to everyday life. In terms of how many years, we think that it's a great start. Obviously, any Guard and Reserve member with service-connected injuries, disabilities, illnesses need to be taken care of throughout their lives. But we think that it's a good way to start and see if we can get that program rolling.
Thank you. Thank you. One of the things that we've been trying to do is trying to project the number of veterans that potentially will get out from service, either for the Northern Marianas and the Army Reserves and active duty throughout the country. It's just been difficult because the Department of Defense uses zip code, and many of our service members sign up on Guam or sign up on other parts of the country. Let me sneak in one last question, if I may. Dr. Lemley, my district, the Northern Mariana Islands, is the single U.S. jurisdiction whose veterans do not have a vet center at home. Sadly, again, no vet center at home for my veterans. You served, sir, as the chief psychologist at the San Francisco VA healthcare system for 25 years. The San Francisco VA oversees multiple vet center locations. Could you please speak to the role vet center locations have on veterans' ability and willingness to seek mental health services, and how many additional vet centers would be necessary to meet the need today and the increased eligible population if the Veterans Compact Act is law? It's enacted into law.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that in your location, there really is a lack of enough vet centers for, yes, no?
Yeah, we don't have, I don't have a CBUC, I don't have a vet center.
Yeah, and so I think the premise of your question is right, and that is if you don't have a CBUC, if you don't have a vet center, where would your veterans go? Because they need a place to land that's within the VA system, and I think that's the premise of your question. And it sounds exactly right.
And how much? I mean, if the discussion bill, the Veterans Compact Act, is enacted into law, how many Can you give us just a guess, I guess, as educated guess on how many death centers would need to be established throughout the country? Any idea? Just or would need to be established to provide services to our veterans?
You know, I'm sorry that I don't know what the number is that's needed, but I think your premise is right, which is that this is a great landing spot for veterans for some of the reasons that you articulated, and that it's a good it's a good extender for VA care.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm way over time. Thank you very much, everyone, and nice seeing all of you. Thank you.
Mr. Saban, before you leave, the connection was rather spotty at the beginning of your questioning period. Did you ask to insert any document into the record? I just want to make sure.
Yes. My statement discussing HR 5024, which that one I'm seeking unanimous consent, and also seeking support from the committee for incorporating the language of HR 5024 into what I think will be your Veterans Compact Act that you may introduce.
So with regard to your request to insert a document into the record without objection so ordered,
Thank you.
we'll move on forward.
Thank you, sir.